Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Inspiration from A to Z 15-minute moments. I am your host, Tamika Harris, and in front of me is our very special guest, Quincy Ford, which I'll introduce formally later. Hi, Quincy.
How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for
Good.
having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to have you on the show. You are in for a special treat. But for those of you who don't know, like I said, I'm Tamika Harris, President and CEO of Always Truth Incorporated. Always Truth Incorporated is dedicated to teaching, reaching, uplifting to help inspire people of all ages. We focus on building confidence and character through the use of poetry, educational rap. I'm a motivational speaker, educator, and my latest product is Inspiration from A to Z, a children's book. If you don't have your copy, I don't know what you're waiting on. Why not inspire a child and get your copy today from Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and now the demand was for Target online, so now it's on Target online. So get your copy today. Now, if you don't know what Inspiration from A to Z 15 minutes moments is about, I'm going to tell you. We focus on a page in the book, and we tell about how our journey relates to the page in the book. So we generally have the show every Friday at 5. That time will change next week, but it will be next Friday. Now, the page we're focusing on is faith. Now, look, this is supposed to be my son, Quincy, in the audience. So this is my son. So the concept of this, it says, have faith, believe that your dreams will become reality. So my son is looking at a reflection in the mirror, and he's like, he's seeing himself being a professional basketball player like you. And so that's the concept of this page of the book. So what better person to have on to talk about faith, and that my son can relate to, and that all the viewers can relate to, is Quincy Ford. Let me tell you about him. You're going to be Quincy is the founder of Harvest Brand.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Get your shirt today. He's born and raised in St. Pete, Florida. He played basketball at Gibbs High School. He received a full scholarship to Northeastern University, and he had a successful college career because he got his degree, y'all. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology and human services. And in his first year, he was signed by the Utah Jazz to start his pro basketball career. And then eventually he started playing overseas. Then his fourth year, he played overseas in Europe. And he recently signed a contract in France for this upcoming season. So I'm excited to ask him a few questions. He's very respectful young man, just humble. And you'll be able to see, you can tell that he knows God and that he had a great upbringing, and that's going to be reflected in this interview, I'm sure. So if you didn't already, tag your friends, share this post so that you can hear what Quincy Ford has to say.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Tamika. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, how long have you been playing basketball overseas?
Overseas, I've been playing for 3 years, and me just signing in France will be my 4th year playing overseas.
Okay, that's awesome, because you didn't always play overseas. So tell us about the transition from playing in the States versus overseas.
Well, my first year, I was signed, as you said, with Utah, and they have a affiliate team, the D League team, and I was sent down there to finish the season, and it was totally different. I'm more accustomed to the way the States plays basketball versus overseas, and the playing style and the speed and the athleticism. So it was definitely a big time adjustment transferring from playing in the States to playing in overseas with, the playing style, the rules are different, and just the overall culture. Being in the States, you're comfortable, your family's there, you're traveling to cities where your friends and family are. And then overseas, you're miles and miles away from your family. So big difference, but amazing experience from both sides.
Yes, and you had to have faith and overcome some obstacles, but you did it.
Yes,
And now you just got signed another contract.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the viewers the whole concept and meaning behind the Harvest Brand.
So the whole concept stems from Galatians 6:9 in the Bible, which reads, "Do not become weary in well-doing, for at a proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up." So when I read that, to me, I think it signifies victory. It signifies accomplishment. It signifies maybe an opportunity. And the most important piece happens before, and that is the result of your harvest. So we're talking about faith. For me, faith is the foundation. It's the first brick that needs to be laid and accomplishing your dreams. And with faith comes, your hard work. You have to be consistent in your habits, your dedication, your resilience, your perseverance, and most importantly, patience. It's a long process, and whatever goals or accomplishments that we want to tackle, it's a process, and it's just one day at a time. But the first and most important thing is faith, is that first foundation.
Yes, and when I read the whole concept behind the Harvest brand, I'm like, I got to get me a shirt and then get my children a shirt. We have to represent
Yes,
because
ma'am.
the meaning behind it is so powerful.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you, well, first, I want you to tell me, how did the Harvest brand begin?
Well, it began in college. It was an incident that took place in my life that was really just life changing. I had an injury. I suffered an injury in college. I had back surgery, and it basically took me out of a year. And in that time, it was a chance for me to really reflect and just take a step back from everything, like spiritually, physically. It pretty much reset me. And one of the best things that came out of that was finding myself in Christ and building a stronger relationship with Christ, and using that to be a testimony of what took place after, which the very next year after I redshirted and went through the rehab process, I went through relearning how to walk again, which, is so common to people. So when I say that, people think like, wait, you had to relearn how to walk? Yes, I had to relearn to walk, which should be simple to most people. So the very next year, my team won a championship the very next year, and I was blessed to win MVP in that game. So so it went from the bottom to climbing the ladder and cutting down the nets. That was one of the best harvest moments in my life.
Look at God, how he moved. That was an obstacle that you overcame and challenges, and you would never thought that would have happened, that it would have
Absolutely.
had, that you would have reaped the harvest, right?
Absolutely. With the harvest in due time.
So what did you learn from this experience or that experience?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, the most important thing is it was a reset for me, in my faith. And it let me know that with God, anything is possible. And I don't just say that to sound cliche. It's the truth. And the reason why I'm so passionate about the brand is because I lived it. I experienced it. I'm still reaping harvests. I'm still sowing seeds. And the most important piece is the faith. And when you sow your seeds, you must first believe that it's going to come about and spring about exactly what you want, your goals, whatever opportunity that you're chasing. So whenever we talk about, the harvest and what we want to accomplish, it's important that faith is the foundation. So when you're every day, you're working, you're doing things to move toward your harvest, you want to make sure that you keep that at the forefront.
Yeah. Now, for those people who might get discouraged along the way as they are trying to reach their goals, what advice or words of encouragement would you give them?
I have two things I want to just, go ahead and
All right.
tell the people out there. So one thing I touched on earlier is just, staying grounded in your faith, letting that be the vehicle for everything, almost everything. And then with that, just being unshakable, being immovable, being resilient, staying tough, staying disciplined. Yeah. And these are things that are just every day. And the second thing I want to say is that, everybody has bad days. We're human. So, I've had plenty of bad days, but it's all about the what's next. And by having that kind of mindset, I think that it'll help, those people who are maybe get discouraged or who think they're falling short in their dreams, that it's okay, you're going to have a bad day, but because you can't do something today doesn't mean you can't do it tomorrow or next week. And the last thing I want to end with is that when you wake up, you want to make sure that you do something that gets you towards your harvest. Just do one thing. If it's reading, if it's studying something, if it's working out, if it's, interacting with your children, for those who have children, is do one thing that puts you closer to your harvest. So that's all I got.
I love that. Hey, that was powerful. That was powerful. Support Quincy and buy his apparel, theharvest12.com. You can follow him on Facebook. Invite your friends to like his page. Look, I already invited friends. Thank you to all my friends who did like his page. I know he appreciates that, and so do I. Look, if the apparel is out of stock, when should we check back? Because I know I wanted to get my son the gold shirt with the black writing on it because he loves black and gold.
Yes, ma'am.
And then, so what should we do?
I would say to check in just weekly, every Monday. During the Corona pandemic, it's put a lot of things on delay, but the Corona ain't stopping nothing. So it may be delayed, but it's not stopping anything. And just check back every Monday. I'll continue to post on my Facebook and Instagram on when new merchandise is dropping. But outside of that, it's the waiting game. And when it drops, the people will know.
And then, so you have to like his page to be able to get the notification. So like his page. And then, you know what? I was in Home Depot this week trying to get some rocks to decorate my flower bed. And I said, they weren't in stock. And so I said, well, what's going on? It's a high demand for rocks. Everybody's outside gardening. And they were like, no, we're having trouble with shipping because of COVID. And so just like you would do, I'm going to keep going back to Home Depot to get my bag of rocks. You keep going back. When he says out of stock, you keep going back and say, you know what, I'm going to get this shirt. I'm going to support him because he is a young man doing great things. He has his degree, pro basketball player, then he started his Harvest brand. Let's support him and sow a seed. So you check back and get that shirt just like I'm going to do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much again for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, no problem. Like his page. And then don't forget to get the copy of my book, Inspiration from A to Z. Invite your friends to like my page, Always Truth Incorporated. And I want to say something, leave the viewers with this, because a lot of times they see people where they're at and say, wow, they're so successful. This is a pro basketball player, or whatever they see, whatever images they see on TV. And you wonder how they're so successful. But successful people always have obstacles that they have to overcome. They have successes and they have failures. So you all just hang in there because you will reap the harvest. And if you continue to move forward and you stay on track and have faith, you will reap that harvest.
Yes,
and when you reap that harvest, you represent too by wearing your shirt.
Amen.
Thank you for tuning in to
Amen.
Inspiration from A to Z, 15-minute moments. And you know, I have to get a shout out because Blingin with Britt, she gave me this just like to wear for the show.
Okay.
I got on my $5 paparazzi jewelry, so I give her a shout out. Thank you, Blingin with Britt, and I thank everybody for tuning in. This is Tamika Harris of Always Truth Incorporated, signing off. Bye, Quincy.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
You're welcome.